All right, cool. We're on Discoastical TV. I feel like now all there is to do is wait for Antonio Calamari to show up for his classic proto. Always the first. I almost used the other intro just because that's what I've been using now, but I wanted to use this one because I haven't gotten to use this one in a while. I only have one outro though, so the same outro will play. Now that
Who's Don't Call Me Francis?
Yeah, who is Don't Call Me Francis? Is your name actually Francis?
Hello.
Antonio Calamari was waiting in the shadows.
Know. He was like, I can't wait to see her. I have arrived.
I want to know, can we actually not call you Francis? Because I gotta call you something, brother. And yeah, I guess I should require you to tell me where you came from. I don't really get any I don't seem to get any random YouTube drive-bys anymore. Like once in a while we'd get random YouTube. People would kind of stumble upon the stream and talk about how Jesus was transgender and black or something. But no one really come to Jersey, we could drink Faygo. Dude, Faygo is some of the best soda in the world. Is Faygo big in Jersey? Am I missing something? I thought Faygo was big in like Detroit. Real name is Frank, but people used to make fun of me by calling me Francis. So I'm gonna call you Francis. Oh man.
Yeah.
Fender Insta from the Manson stuff.
See, people do like the original Instagram.
Oh yeah, I know people like the original page way more than they like what I'm doing. I mean, that's why that page got almost 10,000 followers, and this new page is at like 600.
Yeah.
I just don't only want to talk about Manson stuff. Antonio Calamari is a juggalo. That's why I like you. That's why I liked you this whole time. I couldn't really put my finger on it until now.
What's that movie? The European juggalo. What's that movie called? With that comedian.
You're talking about like Deuce Bigalow?
Oh, that's yeah. I don't know why.
That's not a juggalo. That's a gigolo.
I know.
Juggalo.
When I see that word, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. But for some reason, when I saw that word, it immediately reminded me of the movie title for some reason.
But we've talked about Deuce Bigalow. This is like the third time Deuce Bigalow has been brought up on this channel, on this stream for. That seems to be a big topic.
No, the juggalos. What's the festival? Is it in Michigan?
It's like ICP.
Did you ever see that documentary?
No.
So good. Oh my god, there's like a 20-minute documentary, and it came out like years ago, like 20 years ago, and it's so fucking funny because you just see all these walks of life, and they just like they just walk around the festival and talk to people. Like they talk to this like morbidly obese guy, and he's just like sitting there listening to the music, and he's like, I really want to find like a really tiny girl and then also make her obese, and then we can lose weight together. Like that's like the general vibe when they interview people.
Why would they want to ruin? Why would you want to ruin a tiny girls are the best? I don't know why anybody would want to ruin a tiny girl like that.
Well, I don't know. He was obese, so I mean that was a long time ago. So who knows?
Yeah. I also feel like that's kind of the same thing as saying like I want to become addicted to fentanyl and then get off of fentanyl. Like it's better to just not do it in the first place.
Yeah, I do remember. I think there were a lot of people in that documentary that said they worked at Walmart.
I would imagine a big chunk of the juggalo population works at Walmart. I could see that.
Yeah, this one girl I remember, she was talking about how she was a manager at Walmart. She was hyped. Experience a homegrown.
Dude, Dixon, California. Yeah, Dirty White Boy. It's funny you showed up. We're talking about this. I guess this is going into ICP. Antonio Calamari is a self-proclaimed juggalo right here. So it looks like Faygo root beer won best root beer in Jersey in 09, 08, 09. I can't see that from here. It looks like 09. That's so Jersey is a place of culture, is what you're telling me. This is peak American culture.
I think it's called American Juggalo.
No, you're talking about Gigolo, or American Gigolo. Oh, you're talking about the Juggalo documentary.
Yeah, it came out in 2011.
No way,
Yeah.
I don't like you can count their vertebrae. See, I like it when you deliver a back shot, it looks like their vertebrae is about to snap in half. That's the kinda stuff that I'm into. Made that bitch fat himself. Nice C6? What is C6?
What does that mean?
I'm a juggalo too, dude, yeah, hell yeah.
For 4 days.
For about 4 days now. We gotta jump him into the gang. Jump him into the juggalo gang.
I think I've only ever been friends with one before in high school, but he
I
was really cool.
I from generally, it seems like they are all cool, they just are into different music than I'm into.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember he wanted to go to a rave with me.
Oh,
So, yeah. So he came with like all my friends and I. And then I remember like he brought Molly and then he was just like so the rave there were like multiple like indoor stages and I remember he took the Molly and then he was rolling so hard that he just kind of like sat in the corner of the building for the entire night. And that's
man,
the
fucking
last time I've heard of
raves.
him.
Wait, what interview are you talking about, Sharon Tate? So in the rave days, I had a buddy that got really into raves, and, anybody that was, into well, not anybody that was into anybody that's driven from Dixon to Woodland will know exactly what I'm talking about. When you drive from Dixon to Woodland, you have to get on an overpass that goes over the freeway. It's like you're getting on the overpass, and it goes over the freeway that continues going to Davis, and there's a guardrail because it's a turn, the overpass turns. So my buddy, he had to drive I think the rave was, like, obviously somewhere out in, like, Sac or not Sac, like, in the Bay Area, and then he had to drive back to Woodland. This was years ago, I haven't talked to this guy in years. He told me the story about how he had to drive home, and he was fucking trashed from this rave, and he's driving home, it's like 4, 3, 4 in the morning, whatever, and he gets on that overpass and starts making the turn, and he does not make the turn, and he slams straight into the overpass. And basically, if the overpass would have broke, he would have flown off the overpass onto the freeway into but it was 3 in the morning, so nobody was on the overpass at the time. So we kind of just like shook it off and continued driving home and got
Right
back
on.
home. Oh, you're confusing Sharon Tate for Sharon Osbourne. Yeah, Sharon Osbourne used to be fat. She just looked like a fat old lady, and now she looks like a like synthetically skinny old lady
So
rolling.
have you ever been to a rave?
No, I never would have
Oh,
allowed myself to go to a rave.
I had like a whole rave. So like when I think I was like in high school, there was a period of time where I was into raving. I must have been like it was like between like 15 to 18.
Dean Martin rules, by the way. But yeah,
What is it? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's like really crazy when you're just well because in LA they have like massive raves. So I went like EDC, now it's in Vegas.
yeah.
But I went to EDC when like the last year when it was in LA, like when the girl died and then they decided to move it elsewhere. And that was nuts because there were like 250,000 people at the Coliseum in downtown LA. And it's basically like 250,000 kids all on drugs. Like it was weird. It was so bizarre. Um, it was just like I remember like I remember every time I went into the bathroom, there was always some weird shit going on. Like
Oh, of course.
it was like I'd go in there and then you would see like a circle of women like on the bathroom floor. It's like disgusting, but everyone is just like high as fuck on ecstasy. And there's like a girl in the middle, like doing yoga and like teaching yoga to the other girls, like breathing exercises because it feels good for the lungs. It was so bizarre. And then I remember I saw this guy on like PCP and it had rained, and he was like flailing around in the mud, like at the dubstep stage. It was weird. It was so weird.
Yeah,
Um,
I just
I could
never.
never. You know what? I honestly don't recommend it. I have friends that still love to go to raves, but it's just,
I just never could. And the thing is, out here where I live, raves are like 500 kids drive out to the middle of the back roads at midnight, and that's where they
yeah,
have the rave. Like, it's certainly not in arenas or venues.
yeah,
It's in the middle of the fucking back roads in the mud. It might be raining. It might be in an abandoned shed. Like, it's just
yeah,
wherever the fuck they can get it out here.
yeah,
Oh, here we go. I had a buddy who used to go to raves, but one time he had a chest infection, so
yeah.
we had to go sober. He said that going sober made him realize that it was the dumbest shit ever, and he never went. Yeah,
No,
that's what it,
I agree. I totally agree with that.
that's what it seems like. It seems like it's one of those things which no diss to things that you have to be high to enjoy. I mean, dude, if you're gonna hang
Yeah.
out with drug dealers, if you're gonna hang out with heroin dealers, you have to be high on heroin. There was one time we tried Calamity Jane and I got off of the junk for like a month. You know, you have a lot of stints trying to get off. And we had these dealers. It was a guy and his girlfriend, the paranoid dealers that thought the cops were outside. So we got clean for like a month, and we liked them. So we were like, you know what, we're gonna come hang out with you guys, even though we're not on the stuff, and we're still friends. We're still gonna be cool. No, we sat there the whole time, and just being in that house got us itchy so bad that when we left, we called some other dealer in town. We were just like, God, we can't fucking hang out with these people. Like when you're not high,
Yeah.
there's just nothing there. So yeah, I'd imagine a rave is very similar. It's just
So I want to comment on the underground raves. I agree with that. So after I stopped going to raves, there was a period of time in my like late teens, early 20s. I was very much into like underground like drum and bass and dubstep, and I would only go to those shows, and that was probably some of the best times of my life because I made so many friends through that community of people. But like when it's so funny how many women want to like fuck a DJ.
oh
I
god.
always think like that's so amusing. Um,
I
having
mean,
gone to so many, like hundreds of those shows, like there were always girls that like wanted to fuck a DJ. Like, okay, so do you know that show Real Bros? Have you ever seen it? Real Bros of Simi Valley? Have you?
no, but I was gonna say
What?
DJs are like the rock stars of that scene, so I guess
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Oh, and I don't listen to dubstep anymore. This was like well over 10 years
Well, I
ago.
would fucking hope not.
No, I don't. It's interesting. Like when I was, it's crazy how when I listened to it when I was younger, I was like, "This is so good," and now I'm like, "This is trash." There's like nothing to it. Why was I obsessed with this? Um, yeah, yeah. Well, it was interesting time.
Women like losers. I can vouch for that. Well, this depends on what era of my life I'm in. If a woman likes me today, then yes, she definitely likes losers. Um, yeah, that would make sense. Rock stars are like the girls want to fuck the guy that's on stage that's entertaining the crowd.
Yeah.
That's pretty much standard, whatever scene it is. You know, if a girl goes to see Dean Martin, she wanted to fuck Dean Martin, dude. Dean Martin, that's so cool. I'm glad someone brought up Dean Martin. Dean Martin's Christmas stuff is my fucking favorite. When you got Dean Martin singing fucking White Christmas and his whole Christmas album, dude. That's like one of my favorite. That's like my favorite time of year is Christmas time. Everyone assumes I'm a Halloween guy. No, dude, I'm a Christmas guy. I like to have a girlfriend and drive around and look at Christmas lights and fucking listen to Dean Martin's Christmas album.
Okay.
DJs are homos.
So okay, so it's funny. So it's interesting how all the DJs that I would hang out with when I was 18 that
We're homos.
I was like, no, because like I was looking at these guys like, oh my God, they are so hot, you know? And all these other girls are like, we have to get with them. And then it's like I've grown up and they've stayed the same. They're still just like, you know, doing that, but they're in their 30s, and I'm like, that's kind of lame.
Just
That's
like
that's
hardcore
like
dancers.
so lame. You know what I mean? They're like 35 out there trying to like rile up a crowd, and it's like, dude. what are you doing? You know, but yeah, it's just like the hardcore.
Just like the hardcore
Core.
dancers, just like Wisdom in Chains.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a weird. That was a big trend, and that trend was so big that it leaked over into like remember bands that metalcore bands started putting like wobbles in their
Yeah.
breakdowns.
Yeah.
The Word Alive, which by the way, it's some of it's still good. Attack got really into putting wobble in their fucking breakdowns. The
Yeah.
Word Alive had that breakdown. What was it like? They said it was like the "Don't Fuck with Family" breakdown, and there was this fucking crazy wobble that when you had the earbuds and you could yeah, they that shit went everywhere. And then of course Skrillex, which always pissed
Yeah.
me off because I liked everyone forgets about Sonny Moore's era between From First to Last and Skrillex when he was doing like really obscure like ambient kind of electronic, like a lot of bells and sample like I mean he was still singing at the time too. That's my favorite era of Sonny Moore. That's when I would like make ringtones for my Go phone on the internet, and I'd get like a song by Sonny Moore. And he had two songs, like one was called Moss, one was called Mora. And that's his best era. Fuck all that Skrillex stuff. Sonny Moore, after From First to Last, while still singing, is the best way. 30 and
I
trying to
like that
rally up the crowd with
comment.
your keyboard.
That's
Go
funny.
pour concrete. Oh my god.
But then like I remember when if the DJ was from another country, oh my God, the girls would really try to like get with them. Like especially if they were from the UK, oh my God. And then like if you were able to hang out with them, everybody was so jealous. And it's really, and then really when you think about it, it's just some kid from a small town in England that happened to book a show out here. But the girls are like going crazy. It's, yeah.
Really quick, just to do this. So the background is actually a picture of the band. It does that song YMCA Village People. So there's the Soul Train thing up top, but in the middle it's Village People like standing in a row. But I blurred all that out so you can't see them. So that's how it looks, kind of just like a kind of a mess of colors in the middle. And I just kept the Soul Train and the two disco balls up top. So I do like this one. I thought it's finally time to do something about the disco in the title. Yeah, that the foreign thing makes sense. Honestly, when you're in a band, even when I was in a band, if you were an out of town band guy, that's the best because then one, you're mysterious. Nobody already knows you. There's no stories of you from around town, like not being able to get it up at a party or something. So you get to kind of become a new person. No, Trump does the YMCA dance. I don't know. I would imagine, has YMCA ever said anything about Trump using their song? Are any of those guys still alive? Because I know that's like a big thing when they use when Republicans use a song, the band like throws a fit about it. But he uses Village People
Wait,
all the time.
what?
Yeah, like there was that thing with Dave Grohl, and he kind of made a fool out of himself.
Oh, I wanted to mention to you, last weekend I went to my local bar and like a lot of big people play there. Anyways, they were saying that Dave Grohl met his side chick at my local bar.
Yeah, probably. She's
So,
probably like
fun
19.
fact. Yeah, there's also a giant painting of him like in the bar because he goes there sometimes. So it's like him in like Civil War regalia, which is weird, but you
I
bet.
have seen
What?
the back and forth dance a lot. There was a meme of like a bunch of football players are doing it now too when they score touchdowns. UK guys at full cock meet. Yeah, no, it's just when you're from an out of town, like that's I always talk about my favorite ex-girlfriend was that blonde girl from Modesto. I was the out of town guy. You and then you get to meet their friends, and she gets to tell her friends that you're this mysterious out of town rock band guy. And like I said, they don't know anything about you. They haven't heard all the stories of you being high on Xanax, jumping off roofs. Like, so they don't, you can cover all that stuff up and not talk about it and become a new person. And the farther away you're from, the better. So, like, if you're from the UK, yeah, you got full cock meat.
Yeah.
Dude, it's, yeah, there was something about, remember there was something else that came out about Dave Grohl with that, some girl he was with, that, it was like a whole stuff. I don't know. I don't know why people act like it's a surprise that Dave Grohl is still cheating on girls. That's been his thing since the 90s.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I heard he goes to the bar.
I just Googled his name, and I guess there was a rumor that him and his wife were divorcing because his wife was spotted out in public without her ring on. But apparently he came out and said that's not true. We're not divorcing. So he's still dealing with this. I also never knew that his middle name was Eric.
It doesn't really look like. Well, maybe he does.
David Eric Grohl.
My dad has spent a couple of Thanksgivings with him because my dad for a number of years was going out with the main girl from the first Evil Dead, and like she was family friends with Dave Grohl. So for like Christmas and Thanksgiving, they would go hang out with him, which I thought was crazy.
The first Evil Dead is easily the best Evil Dead. I liked it better before it got into all the comedy.
Ellen Sandweiss is her name from the
yeah, she's the one that gets the
yeah.
face.
She went out with my dad for like a long time. I think they met on like Match.com. And then
So they were older when they dated.
Yeah. This was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, like 10 years ago. And then they went out for like a couple of years. But then he broke up with her because she wanted to get married and he didn't. So he was like, bye. So.
Oh, no way. She was in that movie, Oz the Great and Powerful. That's the movie that I saw with my favorite ex-girlfriend on one of our first dates. I've talked about that. I drove 2 hours. We got drunk in the middle of a park, and then I had to drive her around town. But I was in my full-blown peak. I was 19. I could be blacked out drunk, and I'd get you across town safer than your fucking Uber driver. I know a girl who likes to hide Matchbox cars in for... Man, that's...
What?
Matchbox cars. How that's like pretty much like the size of Hot Wheels. Let me look up what a Matchbox car actually looks like size wise. That makes me think of like yeah, oh those are big. That would suck. I guess that stuff is stretchy.
Okay, so I have a story that's like a huge shocker just for the public.
Is it recent?
Yeah. I actually saw it on Instagram and then I was like, what the fuck? And so I looked it up and it's a whole thing. So, okay, you guys can look this up. There is a guy, a homeless man, walking around Nashville with half of his brain exposed. Did I show you that video?
Yeah, you've sent us that. That's got to be like some combination of PCP and fentanyl.
So like the store, I kid you not, it looks like in Hannibal when like the top half is removed, he's walking around with like this part, like the top part of his skull is gone and it's just like brain is exposed. It's like insane. It looks like a movie and it's real. And the story is that he got into some kind of accident and so they had to do surgery on his skull. And then I think the story is that like he like wanted a smoke break and then he just like dipped and then he's just walking around like that. And then there's something where like he wants to get the rest of his skull replaced so he doesn't have an exposed brain. Ew, that's disgusting.
Yeah, I can see it. I'm not going to show it on screen because I don't want my shit to get flagged.
But like how does that work? Because wouldn't he get an infection? Or
honestly, I think the
like,
human body is just like way more lottery than we think. Like some people snort like their first line of cocaine and they have a heart attack and die immediately, and then some people can walk around with an exposed brain. It's just luck of the draw. It's kind of what I've decided.
Like that's so gnarly.
That's why like when you see those ladies that live to be like 107 and they drink Dr. Pepper and smoke cigarettes every day, but then the guy that takes perfectly good care of his health dies of a heart attack at like 69. It's just welcome to the world.
I feel like there should be like a law around that. Like you can't just be walking around with like your brain exposed. you know, like that's, and I can't believe that he was just like, yeah, I'll be right back, and then dipped. Like, what? Your skull
That
is missing.
that hospital should be held accountable for letting that guy go. That is one thing.
Well, I heard there's something where like he goes once in a while to like get it cleaned, but there's like some kind of issue with getting it replaced. But somebody had interviewed him recently and he said that he wants the top half of his skull back, but
Well, yeah, I
that's
would fucking imagine.
so
I would hope he does.
disturbing. Like, yeah, I don't know, but I saw that in the news and I thought that was fucking awful. I can't believe that you know, I feel like that happened here, but it's happening in Nashville. So
There is kind of an irony that half brain dude death would have become hilarious. There is definitely an irony in the fact that I can't walk around with my wiener exposed, but he can walk around with his full brain exposed. I think somebody ought to change some laws around with that. Yeah, I guess I can't imagine. I don't know how would they even make that criminalized. Like, how would they? What would the law say that you can't walk around with an exposed brain? I got a trash bag broad at work who drinks Dr. Pepper and guns cigs all day. She
but
looks
then
like
like
broad from Kingpin.
that aren't there like fluids that would like come out? Like it's just so, I saw like a photo of him wearing a beanie, which is like wild. I'm like, how does he fit
It's
like the
it's got
fucking
it's probably
beanie?
honestly like very not shallow. Like for him to be alive this long, they probably really haven't dug in that far. I got an
No,
exposed brain hanging
the
up the side of my
tissue and
shirt.
the tissue and the membrane must be like really intense to not get a fucking infection.
Yeah, they must have not gone in that far, you know, like probably the bare minimum. And like I said, it's just the lottery. It's just the fucking
But
lottery.
like that's so weird. Like I couldn't imagine seeing that in person. Like seeing like just your face and then it's just like it's carved in. Like that is so weird. I don't know.
Isn't Rachel
But
Levine the dude with the army jacket? I don't know. The only person I'm ever voting for again is AOC because AOC is one of the top 10 prettiest girls in the world. I don't care what yes, she's stupid. We all know this. But AOC is oh god. I like Francis's comments. Francis is he's not afraid to looking like Ben Franklin. You know what's funny is people have been talking about those stories where they found like dead bodies under Ben Franklin's house, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" And it's like, no, dude, he was a fucking scientist, and it was the fucking 1700s. Like, you went and you picked up a cadaver, you got it where you could get it, you disposed of it where you could dispose of it. Welcome to the 1700s. That's what being a doctor was like. You found a body. What are you gonna do? Where are you gonna throw it? You're gonna throw it where you throw all the rest of the trash, under your house.
in the
It's
pit.
17 fucking 74. What do you think you're gonna do? Francis is a Trump guy. My channel has a history of attracting Trump guys.
I guess you give off that vibe.
She's Jesus Christ. I don't even think can I say that? Am I allowed to say that on YouTube?
I don't know.
Glad to have Francis here. I hope we can get this guy back more. But the crowd seems to like Francis. Oh, that's hilarious, dude. Yeah, I don't know if I don't even know if I'm allowed to. I still don't know what I'm allowed to say on YouTube. There's never been like rules.
There's nothing online.
There's literally no list. They can just whatever anytime. So that's how and also I'm sure that me having no subscribers, because I've said some things on here that I think big YouTubers would actually get in trouble. I've said things on here that streamers have gotten banned from Twitch for saying. And I know this because I've like followed these streamers. There's this girl who's now on YouTube, a game streamer. I've got a total crush on her, but she's a total Trumper, and she's like, she will say any gay slur in the book. And yeah, she got kicked off of Twitch. What's her name? I honestly don't even watch her. I just see pictures of her, and that's all that matters. Shit, I'm subscribed to her on YouTube. I don't know. Someone help me. What's this girl? This girl streamer. I'm just gonna pull up a picture of her, and she's like older than me, and she looks younger than me. It's really weird. Girl streamer banned from Twitch. Okay, that's a stupid thing to Google. Of course, a million things are going to come up. No, I just look stupid.
So has Jenny not come back?
No, but we do have to talk about Jenny. Melanie Mack. Hold on really quick. Melanie Mack. That's the girl. Let me pull this fucking broad up in some pictures. This girl. I have a total crush on this fucking girl. You guys gotta tell me if I'm correct for this. She's a total babe. And she says gay slurs on the internet. So I mean that's like 4 points added to the scale. Okay, not 4. We'll go 2 points added to the scale. Yeah, she got kicked off of Twitch. She's on YouTube, and she basically, her main thing is she complains about like gay stuff being put in video games. You know how like everyone adds gay stuff to everything nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
So like she'll talk about like, oh, when they remade like they're remaking Lara Croft, and she thinks they're making Lara Croft look too manly because it's like a trendy thing and whatever. And she's been talking about that lately. Yeah, I got copyright strikes and can't monetize some of our. No, the copyright strikes are from. I always fuck up. Like when I pulled up the Logan Paul clip wrestling last night, that was a copyright claim from WWE. So our videos now are not. No, it's not a dude. No, because she's against all that shit. The dude that you're thinking of is that streamer. Yeah, Trey was right. I like skinny, basic white girls. The dude girl streamer you're thinking of is that's like a political streamer. I know exactly what you're thinking of. It's Blair White. Blair White is a streamer. I've seen her talk about Planned Parenthood on YouTube. Yeah, it's weird. She's like a damn near like a video game / political streamer. She talks about pretty much all the same things. Nice shaved Adam's apple. No, you got the wrong one. You got the wrong one. Fuck, what was I saying before this guy tried to tell me that the love of my life is a dude? The copyright strikes. Yeah, no, I get copyright claims. They're not even strikes. They're copyright claims, which just means you can't monetize. Basically, anytime I do any kind of screen sharing for a video, I get like WWE footage. They copyright claimed that when I showed the Logan Paul punch last night. That got claimed. And then Dirty White Boy, I honestly just forget that we're also streaming to your channel, so the things that I do affect your channel. So yeah, so now the video on your channel cannot be seen in Russia, in Bangladesh, and a bunch of other places. And Francis says ban abortion. Jesus Christ. Is that something that Melanie Mack says? Because I've, like I said, I've never really watched too much of her. I've never watched a full stream of hers at all, for sure. Wired a Planned. What does wired mean? Like you're spying on people in Planned Parenthood? That's what wiring means, something, right? Like a microphone.
Yeah.
Rob is not a torta tangler. I've been around some tortas back in my day. I've only tangoed with a couple of them. My first girlfriend actually could technically be. Well, no, she's not full blown torta, but she's she's a Mexican gal. She's got some meat on her bones. Of course, when I was with her, this was like freshman year. She was skinnier. Skinny girls that smoke inside their house only. That's the dream girl right here. That's the reason
you really like Latina girls. That seems to be your type.
I have dated a handful of Mexican girls. My first ever girlfriend was a Mexican girl. My third girlfriend was a Mexican girl. I dated a girl my junior year that was a Mexican gal.
Is that like your preference or like what's in the area?
Realistically, I don't have a preference. If I think a girl is attractive, I will go after her. If I have a main type, it is definitely basic white girls. It's girls in fucking jeans with Ugg boots that wear like hoodies in the wintertime. Girls that were cheerleaders in high school and cowboy boots and cowboy hats are a plus. Of course, not required. Everyone thinks I'm into like goth girls, which is not true at all. I've been with I was with some really hot scene girls back in the day, just because that was like the thing at the time, and I was in a band. But yeah, I've also been with girls that are hooked on heroin, and I've been with one time I was going through a short thing with a girl that was on meth, which was really annoying. Half Italian, half Puerto Rican, best mix. Is that like a specific requirement, like on your dating app? You have that in your requirements? Must be half Italian, half Puerto Rican. Yeah, Haley Welch is a babe. If I was ever gonna pay for an OnlyFans, if she ever started one, I would pay for Haley Welch's OnlyFans. 1000%. Have you ever seen that? There's a couple pictures of her where you can see, like there's one picture of her in like a bikini. It's like or like a clip of her in a. And
What
it's
is your ethnicity?
mine.
Yeah.
Mine gets a little confusing because I honestly don't know too much about it.
Oh, you
I
haven't done like a 23andMe?
no fuck no. Because if I ever want to become a serial killer, they'll have my DNA. So I'm not falling for that shit. That's for suckers.
Okay.
They want to send their spit in a bag. Um, simp. I feel like I've heard somewhere that some of my family is from Spain. I don't.
Okay.
I could be totally wrong about that. I don't know. Um, I know I'm damn near positive I'm like half Mexican.
Okay, I could see that.
I don't really find her entertaining. Haley Welch, yeah, I don't find her entertaining at all either. If that's what you're saying, she's just hot. Yeah, 100% white. Dirty white boy, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel and call it Clean Black Girl, and I'm gonna become the competitor to your channel, Reptilian. I'd be down to date a reptilian girl. There's on that podcast, The Confessionals, that I talk about a lot. There's Don't Call Me Francis wants to know if Annie has a man.
Yes.
Francis is shooting his shot. Francis, you've been denied. Airball. There's an episode of The Confessionals where a guy talks about how he dated a girl who was a werewolf. It's one of the stories that I don't believe at all. That show, it's very hit or miss. I love some episodes. Some of them are complete bullshit. Yeah, he talks about how he dated a werewolf. It like literally sounds like a fucking Twilight episode. He talks about how his werewolf girlfriend used to keep an eye on him because all the other werewolves in town didn't like that she was dating a human man. It's stupid. But I would date a reptilian girl for sure. That'd be kind of cool. She could protect me. You know, she could be the big spoon because she could turn into a giant fucking lizard. So
I'm sure they exist.
reptilians?
Yeah, like or you could go out with like a shapeshifter.
I don't know how I feel about shapeshifters.
Why?
I like cryptids. I think humanoid creatures are real, but I don't really know if I think there are like humans that can switch back and forth between things. Francis doesn't like phase. So what? You're just one of those guys that shoots a shot and then airballs and then comes back with it's got to be awkward in a job interview.
Okay, so if I had said like no, what would you have said?
Yeah, what if she said no? What if she said no, she doesn't have a man? What if she's lying? My boy Francis, aka Ben Bricky, a shooter. Dude, Dirty White Boy likes to make fun of dudes for taking shots.
That's got to be awkward in a job interview. What?
The face tattoos?
Actually, it doesn't because
you live in LA.
Well, yeah, and also I am extremely educated. I have a master's degree. I went to school. I was an archaeologist for many years. So, you know, I got them because I'm very confident in myself and my abilities.
Francis, if you are going to beef with Annie on the stream, I will put the mic away and I will gladly sit back and watch like Jerry Springer. I would imagine at a job interview in Los Angeles, you probably won't get the job if you don't have face tattoos.
I don't think I've ever been declined from a job because
clapping cheeks.
If you go and you are qualified and you know what you're talking about, you know.
So what do you do for work?
What do I do for work now? Oh, I own a clothing boutique. I've been doing that since COVID.
University of Phoenix Online.
I went to school for anthropology and archaeology, and I was an archaeologist for many years. I worked at the Natural History Museum. I also worked for a couple of years as a primatologist with chimpanzees. So I have quite an extensive background working in the sciences. And then I got into sustainability. And now I sell vintage clothing because I got tired of digging holes, just like the movie.
I think digging holes sounds fun. Being a bone smuggler sounds fun.
Oh, like, okay, so I would say when I had my time as an archaeologist, it was really cool. Um, but yeah, no, digging holes, like it's no joke because you're out in the fucking sun and it's California, so it's so hot and um it was, it was a lot. And so after years, I was like, I'm fucking tired of this.
What's a
Is
sarcophagus?
there a good retirement plan for that? Well, yeah, I mean, most people end up teaching. So
Okay, like an Egyptian, one of those Egyptian tomb kind of things.
for what? Oh, a sarcophagus.
Yeah.
Also,
It sucks because all the subjects that I was interested in that I wanted to go to college for, they're the subjects that really the only job available is teacher. Like I went for English, writing English, and then I went for philosophy, and I took a psychology class. And yeah, pretty much everything I'm into, it's like, what's your career? Oh, you can be a fucking teacher, unless you become like a rock star. Like unless I went to school for English and philosophy and then became fucking Jordan Peterson, which is not going to happen.
yeah,
You're going to be a teacher.
yeah. But no, I mean, to answer your question, yeah, like in LA, everybody is tattooed. It's not really, you know, people don't really bat an eyelash.
The one thing I always say about our generation, and this is coming from a guy that has no tattoos, one thing that our generation did that is actually cool. I remember when I was a kid, that was a big thing. If you have visible tattoos, you're not going to get a job. So our generation went out and got so fucking tattooed that it
Yeah,
forced them to hire people with tattoos because it's like, who else are you going to hire if you're not hiring people with tattoos?
yeah, yeah. Um, Yeah, I mean, I just, I've always like known what I want to do and I'm very much into like education, so I kind of felt like, well, I'm going to get all these tattoos, but like it doesn't really matter because I know that I'm qualified for the work I want to do. Um, it's not like I don't know anything, so I try to like stand out with the crowd from that. But yeah, the face tattoos, that was just kind of on a whim. Um, Well, my husband really likes them, so it doesn't matter, and he has them too, so
Another airball. My grandfather said tattoos are for livestock. That's great.
Okay. All right.
I've only ever wanted there's only 2 tattoos I've ever wanted that I will honestly, at this point, never get because now I'm just too old to start getting tattoos. It'd be
That's not
ridiculous.
true.
Dude, if you get your first tattoo at 31, you might as well be hardcore dancing at
My
31.
dad got his first tattoo at, like, 55,
Well, your dad might as well be hardcore dancing then.
so no. Valid, I'm a pig. What is that
Like
reference?
tattoos for livestock.
Oh, okay. For sure. He's
What's
an
your
elec
husband do? We're
he
getting into, like, the biography now. What does your husband do?
he's an electrician. It's true, don't let her lie to you. What? Yeah, the face tattoos, that was just kind of like on a whim. I uh I grew up in South Africa, and so I was hanging out with some buddies there. And then they all have them and they were like, "Let's go. You would look good." And I was like, "Okay, sounds good." And then that's all it took.
When you say foos, do you mean the Mexican people? Is that what the Mexican students in class? Your husband is the breadwinner, this guy is
Wait,
assuming.
why does it Okay, yeah. I like being a wife. So no problem with that.
I'm an electric Rican. I always wonder where the term breadwinner came from. What about the meat?
So Jenny hasn't come back.
Oh yeah, no, we gotta talk about Jenny. So yeah, no, Jenny has not come back, at least never in the chat. But
Really? Interesting.
yeah, I figured Jenny. I would imagine Jenny came back and just never commented and just didn't see you and then just gave up.
Hmm.
The Mexicans in my class. But yeah, Jenny,
Yes, actually, I loved the wild thornberries. So, yes, I am Eliza Thornberry.
you know, I don't even think Jenny still follows the Instagram page.
Do
I forget.
you think that he deleted the page? Like the Instagram?
I don't even remember what his Instagram name was.
I don't either. It was like a couple of letters.
What subject did you want to get to, Antonio Calamari? As Dirty White Boy said, but
What?
yeah, post nut clarity hit, and then he deleted the Jenny YouTube page. No,
Well,
there's been Jenny, there's been new Jenny updates that just don't have to do with our YouTube
I
page.
asked Tim if he was Jenny. I just, and then of course it was like no. But then like I was thinking about it because I said, "Are you Jenny?" And then he said no, and I was like I had to explain, okay, so there's this person that was coming into the stream and blah blah blah. And then I said I was like, they kind of admitted that they were you. And then he was like, well, it's not me. It's probably one of my friends. But then I thought about it because I said, are you Jenny? And he just said no, which is kind of a weird response. You think that he would be like,
Who the fuck
no.
is Jenny?
Yeah, like, who the fuck is Jenny? It was like an immediate no. So it's like, okay, so you already know what I'm talking about.
Antonio Calamari, if you're taking off, it was good to talk to you. You should follow Adria Ray on Instagram. She's a porn star, and I don't watch porn, so the most I do is follow porn stars on Instagram where I don't see them fully naked. But Adria Ray, yeah, ADRIARAE. That is my recommendation for you before you go to bed. I don't think she's Italian or Puerto Rican or reptilian or whatever you were saying, but
It was for sure him.
yeah, so what she's leaving out is that Tim messaged her and told her that he's in love with her. Tim came clean. Tim was like, yeah, I fucking love you. I want to be your Jim Morrison. I want to come to LA. I don't care that you're married. So then Annie said, okay, well, are you Jenny? And he said no. So like, why are you denying the Jenny thing? You'll confess all this weird love shit, but you're not gonna fess up to the Jenny thing? Yeah, no, it's for sure him. It's for sure him. He just it's another brick shooter. We got a lot of brick shooters on this page apparently. This is like the page of brick shooters, but yeah, I don't really know what he is. I don't really know what his deal is. Like, I'll confess, it just be like, oh yeah, it was me. I just didn't know how to talk to you, so I made a YouTube page and blah blah blah. And
Yeah, no, it was just like, no, not like what's that? Which I don't know.
immediately searches for her on Pornhub.
What?
I think he's talking about Adria Ray.
Okay.
Or if you're talking about Adria Ray, let me know what you find. Pornhub was always bad. That was the thing I always remember. Everyone talks about Pornhub, but Pornhub only has like 5-minute kind of previews of full videos. You had to go to other sites like ePorner was a good one. Spank Bang was a good one. Don't Call Me Francis is married. Okay, so you can still follow porn stars on Instagram. What?
I'm married.
Oh, you're shooting shots while you're married is what you're saying. That's awesome. Bring your wife on. I want to talk to her. Unfortunately. Is your wife ugly? Man. Yeah, to me, that's a weird thing to fess up to the crush, but then I guess it makes sense because he might think you think he's weird, which is funny that out of all the things.
He said, he was like, you can block me because I know this is uncomfortable, but I just can't take it anymore. I've been feeling
should
like
block
this
him.
for a long time. And I was just like, no, because, like we were all 20 once, like,
Yeah, I was 20 and I did not make YouTube pages pretending to be a girl to talk to girls. No, she sucks like most of them. Jesus Christ.
Who sucks?
His wife. Francis hates his wife.
Then why are you married?
Yeah, I'm down to talk about this. Why do you hate your wife? Can I have her number if you hate her? Is she
Okay. So for the past 2 years, I've been following this chick on Instagram. So there's like this whole realm on there of women that date men in prison, and it's very interesting. And I've been following this one chick that's been married to a guy in prison for like 5 years, and she met him like, I don't know how she found him, through like being like a pen pal or something. Anyways, she just posted right now that he's been released, and so the lore continues. But I think it's fascinating that women will dedicate their whole lives to a man in prison. um, what do you think about that?
It's caveman brain.
Caveman brain? But the man can't like
It doesn't matter. It's
fly.
caveman brain.
Like, what? But like, how so?
Um, Hold on. I felt like it's what you're supposed to do. White picket fence, get married, have kids, golden retriever, and I regret it. Oh yeah, now we're getting into good shit. So what's the answer? Are you not going to give me your wife? I'll take your wife off your hands. I feel like you should just start going to strip clubs. You should just go to a strip club every Saturday night. Francis seems to hate females. That's what's going on here. I think everyone secretly hates females. I'm just kidding. I don't think people actually hate females. Are you? And then you self-corrected R to R. So you're stupid, Francis. You can't spell. This is what you're saying right now. Oh, females are stupid. Okay, so he said females ate stupid and then corrected it to R. Never mind. I got what you're saying.
You really get like an interesting crowd on here.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's like, yeah, it's really the He-Man Woman Haters Club.
Well, I mean, you actually aren't helping things by talking about how women like to fuck guys or hook up with guys in prison.
I just think that's so interesting, like how the mind works. Like, why?
It's caveman brain. Back in the caveman days, you wanted a man who was a killer because that was the killer be killed days back then. So girls want to get with a killer because that's, if shit ever pops off, their husband will kill someone for them.
I'm a killer, Bella. Sorry, I like Twilight. So.
Yeah, girls like killers. That is definitely one of those things. Girls like killers, whether they will admit it or not. Oh, here we go. We got some advice.
Like life advice in the chat.
I feel like if you're unhappy, you should leave her, brother. You literally have one life, man. You shouldn't feel like this about the person you're with. You should get with a killer, or you should kill someone and then find a new girl that likes killers. I agree, dirty white boy. Kids make that hard. Oh, we got kids in the picture too. Well, yeah. Have you ever heard of what's that guy's name? God, how could I be blanking on this name? It's like one of the biggest stories. Hold on. You have a wife and kids that you don't want anymore. So what this means is you need to find you look up Chris Watts. Seems like that's the route you have to go. Woman Haters Club, LMAO. Yeah, you gotta get into Chris Watts. That's what you need to do, buddy. Look into Chris Watts. See how he took care of things. For the sake of being on YouTube, I'm completely joking. Not being serious about that at all. But yeah, Woman Haters Club. I don't think anybody actually hates. I think people think about guys that hate girls. They just think about guys that like got rejected in high school. But that's not usually like a breeding ground for hating women. Every day you wake up and open your eyes, you can change every single aspect of your life.
I think I told you a story once how I knew a guy in high school, and then he couldn't get any women, and he couldn't get any woman like throughout his early 20s. And so he became a real woman hater because he couldn't get laid. And he told us that. And so he hated all the females in our friend group and every woman. And then he actually tried to kill himself because he could not get laid. It was really like wild. Like, I think he tried to slit his wrists. And then
yeah, this is an argument for legalizing prostitution.
But then I think he's okay now. He had to get hospitalized and whatnot. And then I don't know if he ever got laid. So I don't know. But I do remember that he sent um, a pic of his dick to everybody, like as a part of his suicide notes.
That's
And
awesome.
it was like, nobody's going to want this. It's so small.
It's
And it was small. It was like really small, but I don't think it was like hard in the picture. It was just like a flaccid dick.
who the fuck would send a flaccid? That guy should kill himself if he thinks it's a good idea to send flaccid dick pictures. I hope he is dead.
No, he's still alive.
Oh, what a bummer for the world.
But yeah, but I do remember it was like a part of his suicide note was the, explaining that nobody would want to have sex with him because of that. And then I remember all the guys in our friend group were like, no, man, like all of ours looks like that. It's okay. Trying to like stop him. But then, I think he did it like, how does it work? It's like, is it like down the river, not across the road or something like that? What's the saying?
Yeah, if you go up and down, you'll die.
Okay, so he did it like across the road, and like he fucked up. He didn't do it the right way.
That just means he wants attention.
So then, like, he was hospitalized, and we must have been like 20 years old or something like that.
The thing is, I think the guys that actually hate women because they don't get laid, that's like beyond hating women. That's like a whole kind of mental illness. Like dude, I haven't got laid in fucking years, and it's like you got to have a whole different kind of.
I mean, I'm sure there's like some like jealousy around it, like when all your friends are getting laid, and then, I'm sure he also was lonely.
I secretly just want Annie. We got to
I
need
thought
Jenny.
you said you don't even like tattoos. So.
I need an archaeological stay-at-home wife with face tattoos in my life. What if this is just Jenny again?
I don't know.
So far we've talked about raves and pretty much just like dating related stuff. I'm trying to title the video right now.
Yes, dating at raves.
I'm just doing remember raves and then dating in 2024, and then I always put and more.
Yeah, that's good.
Anyone else in the chat, if you can remember anything else we've like talked about, I'll put in the title. I've gone up through the chat and I can't really find much else. Like dating preferences technically, but yeah, it's I think dudes that hate girls, it's
weird.
It's different than just like, yeah, they think about like guys that can't get laid. Those are just like completely mentally ill guys. They hate themselves.
So what you're saying is you wouldn't put your dick in a suicide note.
No, it's yeah, that's like the worst idea. And also,
like
guys,
not even hard.
Guys also need to stop sending dick pictures in general.
Yeah.
I've never heard one story ever of a guy that sends an unsolicited dick picture and the girl goes, "Oh, I like that. Let's hang out." Like, I don't think it's ever actually worked. I don't know why guys do it. I think it's more of a troll, honestly.
Yeah.
I could put that in the title, man, hating women for not fucking them. Yeah, it's
yeah.
I've only ever sent one picture like that in my life, and it's just because a girl like specifically went in hard asking for it, and it was kind of a joke on Snapchat.
You never like send them to your boys?
No, actually. I've never so far all the friends I've had, we've been pretty like not into, there are like some groups of dudes that like we'll all get naked together and shit. Me and my first band, we used to shower together, but we'd all shower. It'd be like 4 guys in a shower. It was a whole ceremony though. We'd shower in our underwear first of all, but we would all turn all the lights off in the shower. We'd steam up the bathroom, put like a Bluetooth speaker, and listen to music, and then we'd light a candle for ambiance, and then we'd all get in the shower, which is like 4 dudes crammed in a shower. Our bass player was a chick. We tried to invite her in, but she would just sit outside the shower and hang out with us while we all did this.
That's wild.
But we called them bro showers. It was like our bonding time as a band.
It's
This
good.
is because when we were that age, Dirty White Boy would know about this. There was a band called Your Second Chance. They used to go on camping trips like once a year, and they would all run naked through the woods together as like a bonding experience.
Yeah, okay, so the comments about um jacking off in the shower.
Yeah, and I
Uh,
here's a 40-second video of me.
I remember years ago getting a video from a guy, and
Francis, if you're taking off, follow Adria Ray on Instagram.
he sent me a video and he was like completely naked on his bed. And then it's like he was like leaning on his side, and then he was like jacking off like really aggressively towards his phone camera. I thought it was an awkward angle and also kind of weird with how like aggressive it was.
Yeah,
So
that is the thing. A lot of guys aren't even good at that. Where's the asterisk sign on a computer keyboard? God damn it. Oh, here it is.
above the 8.
Yeah, I just found it. Yeah, it's most guys don't even really know like the right angles to do.
So what is the right angle? Is the question.
I don't know, but it's certainly not the one you see the most is the guy like brings the camera down to below
Oh, I hate that.
and it
Yeah,
gets
that's
the upward
no.
shot and it's like
Yeah.
why would you that's terrible. That's a
No.
terrible.
Yeah. I don't like that.
No,
Yeah.
it's probably honestly a mirror selfie is probably your best bet if you're gonna send a wiener picture. Just get a selfie of it in the mirror. You can kind of make it look bigger. You can do things, you know.
I think, yeah, like guys like to do the one where it's like a mirror selfie, but there you remove the face and it's like torso and below. So then it kind of leaves some like air of mystery of like, what do they look like? What does their face look like?
Yeah.
But that only really works if you're like jacked, you know, if you're like really big. I don't know about that. Can't say that would.
Yeah, I've always advocated against guys sending dick pictures at all. You just it's not for guys to do. Girls send nudes, it's awesome. We all love them. But guys, the guy's body is not like a fucking marvel of art like girls' bodies are, to be honest.
Yeah, no, definitely not. But yeah, I can't remember like getting a lot of what is this?
She always every
No, good for her. Good for her.
Instagram group text.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, that's if I was a girl, that's what I'd do. Like it's there, yeah, I've never heard one story in my life of an unsolicited dick picture working. It's never worked.
I feel like there was like a like a term for like an exchange. Like a pick for pick or something like that. Like
Yeah.
dick for tits or something like that. Like you would like exchange one body part for the other. Something like that.
I just remember like P4P on MySpace.
Yeah. Local dudes. Shame. Like, do people still do that?
Do what?
Like, send dick pics? Is that still like a thing with the youth? I'm sure.
And unsolicited or solicited?
Like, I don't know. I feel like the youth of today, like, do they, yeah, like say, like, oh, send me a pic or something like that. It's,
Yeah, I would imagine.
I don't know.
It'll be
So
like November
weird.
so far, and then just a slideshow of shame from local dudes. It's hilarious. I remember when I was in high school, I don't know if I've talked about this before. The fuck yeah, Dirty White Boy might remember this. Do you remember fuck yeah dumbsluts.tumblr.com? That became like local legend at our high school, and people tried to pin it on me for a short time. So it all started because I was talking to this girl named Sarah. I will not give a last name. Dirty White Boy will, if I gave a last name, he would know immediately. was talking to this girl named Sarah, and at the time I had a cell phone. I didn't have picture messaging, picture texts. I missed out on a lot of good pictures in high school because of that. But Sarah wanted to send me nudes, and I couldn't get them. So she said, very stupidly, "Okay, I'll upload them to my Tumblr. I don't have a lot of followers, so just go look at these when I upload them." And I said, "Okay, yeah, for sure." So yeah, she puts nudes of herself on her Tumblr, and I go look, and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, cool, whatever." So then the very next day, this Tumblr appears out of nowhere, and it's called fuckyeahdumbsluts.tumblr.com, and it's got the pictures that Sarah put up of her nudes. And, of course, we don't know who this is. We're just like, how the fuck did these get here? Who took these pictures? Blah, blah, blah. Well, then as the days kept going on, more girls from the area kept popping up. Pretty much all of my ex-girlfriends ended up on this list. And it became like almost like the burn book in Mean Girls. We'd get off school and run home to my drummer's house to look at who got fucking put up on Fuck Yeah Dumb Sluts today. And I actually you could all remember on Tumblr you could submit pictures to certain pages too sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So people would submit pages. Oh yeah, here we go. I know he remembers this shit. I was on that page. I was one of the original posted. I've always wondered to this very day who put me on there. They fucking roasted me with like a paragraph. Dude, I put one of my ex-girlfriends on there. And when I put her on there, MJ, funny enough, MJ called me out and was like, "You're the Fuck Yeah Dumb Sluts guy." And I was like, no, I'm not. And he might have just been calling me out for putting that girl on there. And I said, no, I'm not. That made me think it was him. Obviously it wasn't him. But because I was like, wait, how would you know that I was the one that submitted the picture of her? This was like a thing for like fucking weeks. And it became a thing. Like I remember the principal or like someone someone at school was talking about like, we're gonna find out who made this and blah blah blah. It was like a big thing around Dixon High, and like Real Girls got put up on there. It got watered down after a while when pretty much every girl in the world was on there. It became too much. But yeah, you would submit a picture of a girl, and whoever it was would write a caption. So I remember I put a picture of my ex-girlfriend. She was wearing a Santa Claus hat, and she was showing her cleavage. Dirty White Boy would also know the girl. And the caption said like "sucking Santa Claus dick" or something. Like, yeah, that was hilarious. That was a big thing for a few weeks. I was thinking about the page The Dirty.
So
I don't
what
remember
happened?
The Dirty. I think it just disappeared one day. It just went away one day. The heat was on though for a while. Like I remember our high school was like, we're gonna find out who did this. This is cyberbullying.
Well, that reminds me of that documentary. That came out a while ago about that website from like MySpace days where that guy was just posting like naked photos of girls without their consent, and then there were all these lawsuits. Yes, yeah.
So is anyone up? I submitted pictures of my wiener to Is Anyone Up because they never got posted. Literally the day I turned 18, I went over to my drummer Laban's house and I took pictures of myself in the bathroom and submitted them because what that was it was a revenge porn site. But it became really big for like bands would get put on there. Like a Day to Remember's guitar player got put on there. And so some band members would get put on there and then their band would blow up on MySpace because girls would go on and see the picture of his dick, then go check out his band.
Yeah.
So to promote my band, I literally put like, "Oh, guitarist of June Breaks Bright got caught with his," and I tried to submit it, but he never posted them. So yeah, Hunter Moore, that was the guy. So there was an opportunity. It's funny, I'm just talking about how I never sent pictures of myself anywhere, but I tried to be on Is Anyone Up. There was that's the thing is that first of all, Protomax, the Fuck Yeah Dumb Sluts, there were no nudes. There were no naked pictures of girls. That is the one thing. That's why there probably wasn't as much legal action. But they did talk about legal action at my school just for the cyberbullying aspect. Is Anyone Up? That guy got straight up in trouble. I think he went to prison.
Yeah, I think he did.
Because that was straight up, it was a revenge porn site. It was, "Are you mad at your ex? You can send your pictures here and we'll post them," which is completely illegal to post.
Yes, I remember in the documentary, the butthole girl. I remember that.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time on that site looking at band members that we liked their fucking dicks and being like disappointed with like, "Oh, I can't believe the guy from Attack has a small wiener." Like, but yeah, that I tried literally the day I turned 18.
Were you super into like the MySpace scene kids world? Did you ever pay attention to that?
Wait, hold on. What the fuck? No, wait, Hunter Moore lives in. No way. You're bullshitting.
I think he is out because they
No,
said
he's out. But if he lives in my town, what are we not doing getting him on the show? Dude, how do you know that he lives in Woodland? Oh my god, when you Google his name, Woodland pops up.
there you go.
Dirty white boy, why are you not befriending him and getting him to come on the show? Was I into the MySpace scene world? Yes, but how deep are you talking?
Like, were you a part of like the lore? Did you like pay attention to all that and like who was who and who was going out with who and all that stuff?
No, I really only knew about Jeffree Star.
Oh, okay. No, I was like deep in the cut with all the scene kid drama. I thought it was so interesting. But never mind, because I can't.
I talked to a scene queen girl in Ohio. She introduced me to Bring Me the Horizon. It could have been a 40-year-old man for all I know, but
He's fucking jacked.
Hunter Moore?
Yeah.
Dude, there's no fucking way he lives in town. Bro, I fucking saw him last year. He's fucking jacked. He's hella weird.
Why don't
Dude,
you? I'm sure he has social media.
I don't think he's allowed on the internet.
Oh.
I think that was part of his punishment. He's not allowed to.
So how are you gonna find him then? Like a phone book?
Wait, no, he might be allowed on the internet. 2015, he was sentenced to 2 years, whatever. December 2015, he was sentenced to federal prison, then followed by 3 years of supervised release. I don't know. I know there was something to do with like his internet activity was monitored or he wasn't allowed completely, but dude, I want to get him on the show.
Well, I'm sure there's an email.
Yeah, there's got to be a way to contact the guy. That would be, I don't even know what I would ask him actually. Like, hey, how many 16-year-old girls' tits did you see?
Just be like, what's up? I don't know.
Be like, hey, why didn't you post my dick pictures that I submitted?
That too.
Whatever happened to.
Probably wouldn't want to talk about any of that, do you think?
You could be right. He'd be one of those, those guys that they did crazy crimes, and then when you interview them, they're like, I don't want to talk about that. It's like, bro, that's why I want to talk to you.
No, he'll probably want to talk about anything else but that.
He was working out outside, and I tried talking to him, and he was being mean. He was like just hella weird, shut down the conversation, and like dapped me up and got back to walking. I was genuinely starstruck. Hey, that guy was the man. You remember that classic picture of him with that guy with the long hair? Let me try to find it. I know the picture. You know the picture I'm talking about. It's like the classic picture. It's like him and his buddy. I think it's him and his buddy with like the long red hair. He's got the glasses on with the not the faux hawk, but the kind of spiked up hair. I guess it was basically like a scene kid faux hawk is what you kind of called it. I can't find it right now, but I wish I could. That's man, fucking Hunter Moore. Those were good times. That was back when the internet was fun. That's when we all should have gotten on YouTube. That's where it's like Bitcoin. We all fucked up by not getting on YouTube. And the thing that's frustrating is that I tried. Every band I was in, I tried to get them to vlog. There's a couple of videos that are on YouTube still from some of my old bands of like we got to do one vlog episode, but then they just weren't into it. I always was like I don't want to say ahead of the time, but I knew that like we need to vlog and like make a YouTube channel and like really do this shit.
You never knew that he was born in your town?
No, I never knew. I knew he lived in
Really?
California. I just never knew that he was born here.
Oh. Where did he go to school? I wonder. He's not that much older than us.
No, he's definitely our age.
He's 38.
No, that's not our age. That's, I mean, similar, I guess. It's 7 years older than me, though.
That's so weird.
Yeah, he's born in Sacramento.
Yeah, but like a guy from your town like would do something like that.
This is a dirtbag town. On the Wikipedia, Moore called himself a professional life ruiner and compared himself to Charles Manson. That's awesome. The website was up for 16 months, during which Moore stated several times he was protected by the same laws that protect Facebook. Moore also paid a hacker to break into email accounts of victims and steal private photos to post.
I think he's on Instagram.
The FBI started an investigation into Moore in 2012 after receiving evidence from Charlotte Laws, the mother of one of the victims. The site was closed in April 2012, sold to an anti-bullying group. Yeah, that was big. That was really big for a long time. Is anyone up? Oh yeah, right here. He was born and he grew up in Woodland, California. He definitely does live here. He was attended and expelled from Woodland Christian School.
Well, how many people live in your town?
Dude, not a lot. It's
Like
more than my hometown, but less than.
like thousands or like hundreds?
No, it's not that fucking small. It's
Well, I don't know. I've never been there.
It's probably like 61,000.
Oh, okay. So that's not terrible. There's like 20 million in mine. So
Yeah, no,
you
we're in
could,
like the tens of thousands.
you could,
My hometown is like 17,000, I think.
you could probably find him.
Well, Dirty
Ask
White
for-
Boy obviously knows he lives around the corner from him. But it sounds like he's not trying to talk to people.
Yeah, I mean, you could write him a letter. I don't know, or just try
He
and find
probably,
an email address.
realistically, he wouldn't want to talk about.
Yeah. I don't know. You can just like become friends with him, I suppose, if you wanted to.
Yeah, I wonder how to do that. Just be like, yeah, hey, dude, I'm a big fan of your work.
But no, like, okay, if you want to become friends with him, yes, you could do that. Or you could be creepy about it and like try and like spot him somewhere where you live and then like become friends with him and like just play it off as if like you don't know who he is. You know?
Yeah, that'd be a good way to just act like, hey, I like your hair or something.
Yeah, and then he could be like, "Oh yeah," and he starts telling you the story about his life and you're like, "Whoa, that's crazy. I had no idea," you know. So,
He grew up in Hunter Moore's Dark Cloud. Yeah, this is a real dirty area of California. This is where some shit like that would grow. That's for sure. I mean, that's small town shit. You have nothing else to do, so you start a revenge porn website.
it's like Twin Peaks modernized.
I think it was like really the first example of revenge porn.
It was. I think that's what they said in the doc.
4chan, of course, is also there's revenge porn on there, but that's a whole different category of website. It's not dedicated to revenge porn.
Do you remember Meat Spin when we were kids?
Oh yes, I do.
Yeah, I remember that being sent around all the time.
That was funny that like entire websites were like memes.
Yeah. Like they had, I remember they had like the links on like, it was like underneath or on the side, and you click one, and then it was like another weird video. I remember a couple of those.
Yeah, the internet used to be fun. That is true. Guys don't holler at each other like that.
But I
There's
mean,
no
you
way.
like, you could, you know, it's what, I mean, what do you say? You can't just.
But that's what I'm saying. Guys don't just walk up to other guys and like, hey, what's up? Like,
I don't know, like maybe he's wearing something cool and you comment on his outfit, or
I'm checking out. Good night. Right on. Hell yeah. I mean, I'll end up talking to you tomorrow, I'm sure. Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, yeah, that is true. There are times like a guy will be like, oh yeah, I like your shirt, or like fucking this or that. But I don't know. I can't imagine he ever actually wears cool shirts, to be honest.
I don't know. Maybe he goes to like a gym or something. You could like find him at that gym.
I do think guys become friends at gyms.
Yeah, no, they definitely do.
You have to spot him or something.
Yeah, no, you gotta like find out if he goes to a gym, go to that gym in your town, and then I don't know, just compliment him on something, or just ask him to like spot you or something like that, you know?
Yeah, I was gonna say I would ask him to spot me.
Yeah.
But
And
I
be
also you
like,
could probably take one look at me and tell that I don't usually go to gyms.
yeah, but who cares? You could just say, I'm starting. Like, it's
This is my first
January.
time.
It's my first time. It's January. You know, I have to start sometime.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, I could see him totally being one of those guys that he doesn't want to talk about the revenge porn.
yeah. And then you'd be like, thank you so much. Like, what's your name? And then that's it. And then you like keep going a couple of times. And then you start a conversation. It's kind of like dating.
Dude, that was such a crazy era of the internet. They really had to start making laws for that stuff. Like nobody ever predicted that the internet would need its own set of laws.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
there are now actual laws that if you post some stuff of an ex-girlfriend without her permission, you can get in trouble for it, which is pretty crazy. The internet is pretty much the world now.
yeah. I mean, that documentary was like heartbreaking. Those poor women that got taken advantage of. So,
And then he was straight hacking into emails and stealing pictures too.
yeah.
Oh, what a fucking guy. What a guy. That guy went to prison for our entertainment. That guy sacrificed for us so we could have something to talk about at 16 years old.
That's wild.
I just remember all the band guys. That was the thing that we cared about. Like a girl would hook up with a band guy and then get a picture of him and then submit it to the, or a band guy would be dating a girl and then he would cheat on her and then she would post his pictures. That was the
But
main thing.
that's like what was going on in like the MySpace scene kid world. Like I remember like there would be like guys that were always hooking up with like underage girls in the scene crowd.
Oh yeah.
And then it would be on like Sticky Drama and like those kind of websites.
Well, I've talked about before. I know all like the underage stuff that happened back then. I don't want to say like, well, duh, but when you think about like a lot of that music was really immature back then.
Yeah.
Like my favorite genre ever from back then, and I still have it. I still love the stuff. Is they call it neon pop now. It's like the
Hmm.
main all time low back then. Metro Station that
I
really,
love Metro Station.
yeah, that like dancey pop. Forever the Sickest
Yeah.
Kids. Forever the Sickest Kids was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And of course, they're gonna attract a big audience of like fucking 16-year-old girls because it's just very dancey, poppy, upbeat, immature
Yeah.
music. And so that music got it just attracted that audience. And then this is not to justify anything at all, but there are fucking 17-year-old girls that look like they're 19 and they
Yeah.
sometimes people don't talk before they fuck and things like that are gonna, it's just like of course that shit was gonna happen.
Yeah.
That shit was so geared
But like
toward.
I remember like sometimes they were like filming each other having sex on like Stickam and things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, shit was just like archaic back then. Shit was chaos. It was crazy.
Yeah. It was a wild time.
YouTube was way more fun back then too. That's back when
Yeah.
like you just had like kids like dancing and uploading videos like and they'd get rich making like
Yeah.
stupid videos.
Yeah.
And then remember the days when you could upload songs in a video to YouTube and there were no copyright claims and shit?
Yeah.
You just make a sweet video of like your favorite Dragon Ball Z fight and put a Limp Bizkit song over it and there was no copy because it was just, it was just the internet. Nowadays, YouTube is such a fucking business that it's like, dude, I can't show 4 seconds of Logan Paul punching Jey Uso on Friday Night SmackDown without getting a copyright claim.
No, you can't do anything anymore. It's
No.
yeah, I remember one time I was really fucking young, like 13. I was like 13 or 14. And I remember there was I don't know. I somehow like started a conversation on MySpace with like some like famous scene kids. That like my friends and I were like, oh my God, they're famous in our eyes at 13. And they were probably like 18 or something. And they were like, why don't you come over and hang out and we'll smoke a bowl? And they lived like a couple blocks away from me. And I managed to like convince my parents to like drop me off. And then my parents were like, well, who are these people? And I was just like, they're friends, from another school. And then of course my mom was like, okay, but like I want to meet them first. And then I'm like, oh my God. And then my mom had to like meet these like kids that I've never even met before. um, yeah, and then I went over there and it was weird. And then I left after like an hour
Yeah.
because they didn't really talk about much except like partying.
I
So
always love those random stories. Like once in a while, you would convince your parents of some crazy shit they would never normally approve of. It just for
yeah,
some reason it was like that day that your mom was like, "Okay, yeah, for sure." Like,
yeah. No, it was wild. Yeah, I can't believe I was like, yeah, I was like literally a child. Like I was like a fucking child. And my parents are like, yeah, go.
the parents
Wild,
are
wild.
weird.
I know, so fucking nuts. Yeah, I don't
Parents
know.
are super weird. I remember the days of my mom wanting to meet like friends' parents when I'd make new friends. Though that was always the worst.
Yeah,
People,
yeah,
I like. There's a joke on the internet that's like, remember middle school when we all wanted the world to believe we just didn't have parents for some reason? Like that was the days of like
yeah,
drop me
yeah.
off around the corner. Like we just wanted everyone to believe we just appeared on Earth with no parents, and that was all.
Yeah. That's
Like
so
it makes no
true.
logical sense to want people to like.
Like that's so true. Like if I was gonna go hang out with somebody, I always told them to like meet me at the corner or something like
Yep.
that. But it's like, why did we do that? Like I have like memories where I'm like, there's no logical sense behind that. Like, why did I do that? Like I would say like drop me off down the road,
Oh yeah.
not even in front of my house. Like it's like, why did I do that? That's so
Yeah.
weird.
It's like
You
they know you didn't walk here. They know you're not old enough to have a driver's license. I was the same way. Drop me off around the corner. I don't want anyone seeing that I have a mom.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I hit high school, and it's like I'd go to Walmart with my mom, and I'm like, I don't give a single fuck at all. Like, what was I
Yeah,
so
yeah,
worried
no,
about?
it's so weird. I know I hang out with my mom every weekend now, and it's like if I see someone, I'm like, yeah, whatever, like it's my mom, who cares? But
Yeah.
yeah, it's so weird. Like when you're 16, it's like, oh no, I'll meet you like a couple blocks down. You drop me off so far away. You're not seeing my house.
And then the best part
So,
too is that you love your friends' parents. Like I always love going over to
oh
my friend's
yeah,
house and seeing their parents. But
yeah,
then when your friends come over to your house and they love your parents, you're like, no, don't talk to my mom. I don't have a mom. Like,
yeah. No, I remember. Yeah, my friends always like my mom. They're like, she's so nice, and I'm like, okay. Yeah. But then I would say the same thing to their moms, and then they would be like, you don't know what you're talking about. So,
yeah, there are no unique experiences with the internet.
yeah. But no, that is so funny. Like, I was actually thinking about that recently. Like, why did I do those things? And I just thought it was weird. But now apparently it's like a universal thing that we did want other people to know that, like, we had these private lives with families.
Yeah, I think it's just that weird age.
Yeah.
It's kind of a fucking train wreck. You don't really know what you're doing. I was wearing eyeliner like to school, and I'd wear mascara. Like, who the fuck even cares about mascara?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, no, I was a weird middle school kid.
It's okay. We're a bunch of those.
Yeah, I think middle school is like the worst time.
The middle school was like the worst years of my life, like hands
Yeah.
down. It was just like I just remember like crying and like being bullied and like I was actually thinking today, so when I was in middle school, I was living in Minnesota and like Midwest teenagers are just fucking brutal. And I was thinking today, I hadn't thought of this in like many years. When I was in 6th grade, it was like 6th or 7th grade, there was a kid and I don't know why he did this, but I think kids just do weird shit. He was like cousin it, and like he'd come to school and he had long black hair and he draped it over his head, and he like walked around like that. And I just remember like we'd all see him coming, and I would just be crying of laughter. Like I couldn't hold it in. It was so weird and so funny. And he would just sit there like in class, like just
Oh
curtain.
yeah.
And I don't know what that was about. Like, no idea. And I remember like the first day of school when we all saw him and we were like, who the fuck is that? And then I had a class with him and everybody's like giggling. Like, it's so obvious. Like, we're all making fun of this kid, like privately. people can't stop laughing. The teacher comes in and she's like, "Why are you guys laughing?" Like automatically angry, and we haven't done anything. And then like we're trying to hold in our laugh, like everybody has their hands over their mouth, like try not to burst out laughing. And then she's like getting really angry that like people won't stop laughing. And then she like looks, her eyes kind of like tilt and she sees this like specimen of a kid. And then she just kind of is like, oh, and then she realizes and
She
then
starts
goes on.
laughing too.
She's like you just see like this, the anger immediately turns into like a disturbance of like, what? I don't know what that is. And she has to like go on and teach. But I think about that to this day, like, what was going on in that kid's head to be like, this is a great fashion choice? It's just like,
We had a kid. So I had a kid in middle school. He was black, and you know, he wanted the straight long black hair, so he would literally go to the water fountain as often as possible to soak his hair. Yeah, like in the middle of class, in between
what?
classes, would soak his hair and yeah, would literally also just drape it down over his face. This kid named Nathan.
Desperation.
Yeah, middle school is definitely the worst. It's gonna sound like a fucking bummer. It's a debate. I may possibly be in the worst years of my life right now, and like for the last 5 years, but middle school is also up there as like possible the worst. But the only reason they say it's not for sure middle school is because I'm probably currently in the middle of like the worst years of my fucking life. But aside from that, yeah, middle school, those 2 years are because it's just fucking terrible. And yeah, I
Yeah.
got picked on, and I just had no friends. I had no favors done though because I went to a private Christian school up until 6th grade. So when I
Yeah.
went to 7th grade, all the kids from town knew each other because they all went to public school together, and then I came from the weirdo school that literally had there I graduated in a class with, like, fucking, like, 20 kids in my class, and then they all continued going there for 7th and 8th grade, and I got pulled out and sent into the public school.
Yeah. No, I was fucking weird in middle school. I was just like, I don't know. I was so weird, so I chose to hang out with like the other weird kids. And like
Yeah.
everybody knew like, oh, don't hang out with those kids. Like they're fucking weird. But like they accepted me. So I'm like, well, I'm going to hang out with them because like so like growing up in Minnesota in like the early 2000s, like all the kids wore like Hollister and Abercrombie, and if you didn't wear those preppy brands, you were just a weirdo. And I was like 10 years old, like, I want to go to Hot Topic. Like, that's what I wanted to do all the time. And
Yeah.
so I was just kind of like cast out with the weirdos, who were nice kids to me, but like, it was so the best part of my snow and like, yeah, it was, but I remember like, so like do you remember like being in middle school and then like having a crush on somebody and just how like horribly awkward it is and just like you don't know what to do with those emotions because it's so terrible.
Yeah, I had a crush on a girl named Esmeralda, Mexican girl again, and, in 7th grade, we used to have, I'm sorry, I'm playing with this. Jay sent me this in the mail, by the way. It's a bumper
Oh,
sticker.
that's good. That's good.
It's been sitting here forever. Yeah, so I had a crush on this girl named Esmeralda, and, every Friday in 7th grade, you could go out to the blacktop, and there was a DJ. It was a guy on a laptop at a table. I think it was I'm sure it was, like, one of the teachers or something, and he would basically play music, and the kids could dance. This happened every lunch on every Friday. And, it kinda became known that I had a crush on Jesus Christ, I can't believe I'm gonna get into this.
No, it's okay. I've got a story as
One day
well.
I had Esmeralda in English class, and her shortened name, everyone called her Esme, right?
Yeah.
ESME. So I wrote her name on my knuckles, ESME on my knuckles,
Okay.
and I made it very obvious so that she could see them. And she saw it, and she was all nice about it, and like was like, "Oh, that's fucking sweet," and blah, you know, this is 7th grade shit. And she gave me a hug, and everything was cool. So after that, it becomes obvious that I have a crush on this girl.
Yeah.
So, one day, you know, she was fucking Mexican, so she always went to the dance thing on the blacktop, and I was just walking by with my friends, and all the kids grabbed me and pushed me into the middle of the dance circle with her, and I was like,
Oh.
"Dude, I don't dance, like, I don't know what I'm," and it was, like, probably one of the worst moments of my life. I was, like, awkwardly just kinda, like, stepping back and forth, like, in rhythm, and she was actually dancing, and she was, like, trying to dance with me. but it didn't help that we are literally two people in the middle of a circle of kids, like telling us to dance. It was just terrible. That's one of the worst seventh grade stories that I have as far as crushes go.
Oh no, I've got worse. I've got like a lot worse. Um, I don't even know if it's like it's like traumatizing. It's so horrible. It's so embarrassing and creepy. Like, I don't. So I remember when I was like in sixth grade. I mean, how old are you when you're in sixth grade? What are you, like 11, 10?
Protomex, I'm actually surprised to hear that story. That is pretty badass. I wish I did some shit like that in seventh grade. What age are sixth graders? Typically 11 to 12.
Okay, so we're like 11. Yeah, like 11 years old, right? So 11 years old, Minnesota. I'm basically like an emo 11-year-old
Yeah,
shopping at Hot Topic. And all the popular kids, they're all wearing Hollister. They have like the double collars going on, and the girls are wearing the mini skirts, whatnot. So in Minnesota, like this, because of the weather, like all the schools, everything is built inside like one giant building. Um, and so at lunch, we go into this giant room, and there were all these tables, and so everybody had a click right away. So there was like it was like Mean Girls. It was like, those are the weirdos, those are the okay kids, and then those are the like super popular kids. Anyways, there was like, I've actually only ever told this story to Nick throughout my entire life, so you're the second person to ever hear it. There was one kid, I remember, he was like the most popular boy in the entire school, or like in the grade, in sixth grade. And he just looked like a Ken doll. And I just thought he was the most beautiful boy I had ever seen in my life. And like, I couldn't do anything about it. So I would stare at him like very intently whenever I could. And like, he would catch me staring, and then I would like look away. And then like people caught on, like within that crowd, like, oh, that's that freak that stares at him all the time. And then I remember like one time one of the like mean girls came up to me and was just like, "Oh, do you like him?" And I was like, "No." I was like, now I have to deny it. And then she was like, "Well, I don't believe that. I think you do." Um, and like when I look back at that as an adult, I'm like, yeah, that's fucking creepy. But I feel like when you're that young, like I didn't know what to do with those emotions, and I certainly couldn't have like spoke to him. He would have laughed at me. So that's my embarrassing story, is just staring at somebody for like a year.
yeah. I think I was pretty good at not staring. I generally knew that you shouldn't stare at people.
I wish I didn't do that. It's just,
Not that my shit was better, just writing fucking girls' names on my knuckles and then making sure they see it, like. But yeah,
yeah.
that's like the era. That's the era for stuff like that. You just don't really know what to do, so you just
Yeah. No, so you do weird shit because you don't know what to do, because you're like, I'm 11. Like, and then it was like, what made it worse, and like, I don't know. I didn't really experience this like when I moved back to California, but I noticed like early on in middle school, like people started dating, which was weird because I'm like, we're 10, like, where are you going? And I don't think that they would actually go anywhere. But do you remember like when we were young, a guy would just be like, or a boy would just be like, "Will you go out with me?" And then she'd be like, "Yes." And then that just means like, okay, we're automatically boyfriend, girlfriend.
it just
Like
means you
there's
hang out at
no,
school.
yeah, like there's no courting, there's no dating. It's like, will you be my boyfriend or girlfriend? And then they say yes. And then yeah, they would just like hang out at school, which is like so weird now because like, that doesn't exist in the real world. Will you go out with me means like going out on a date and then seeing if it works.
Yeah, back then
But
it just made me hang out at school. That was my first girlfriend in high school. I asked her, it was over text too. I asked her if she'd go out with me, and then it was like a Saturday too. So then we just showed up on Monday and just made out at school. Like that's what that meant.
yeah, yeah. But no, I remember like in sixth grade, people were like, I don't know. It's like, is it really even dating? But they were just like, everybody was like boyfriend, girlfriend, which was so weird because it's like, what are you doing? Like, you're not even sexually active. Like, what are you doing at 11 years old? You know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
everybody
it's just
kind of like
kids wanting to be
claiming,
grown.
yeah, they're like claiming one another. But then it made me feel really horrible because people were having, I don't, people were essentially having these experiences like at an early age, and I kind of felt like, oh, is there something wrong with me? But then I'm like, no, there's not. They're just fucking weird,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah,
because yeah.
it's a weird time, and yeah, I remember everyone dating or acting like they were dating, and it just meant they would just hold hands at school is basically what it meant.
Yeah.
I mean, really, there's no dating until both of you guys are, like, mobile, or one of you is
Yeah.
mobile.
Yeah.
I
No,
remember I dated a girl with a car before I ever got a car, and that was always cool, like, she'd fucking pick me up.
I mean, I think like sometimes the kids would go to the movies and whatnot, like their parents would drop them off.
Oh, yeah.
But like, I don't think they're like having sex or anything like that at 11, at least.
There were definitely kids when I was in middle school that were having sex, and I always thought it was fucking weird. Dude, you guys were, like, 13. Like, what are you doing?
What?
I remember, like, even at 13, I was like, "Girl, I think you guys are fucking weird." I don't even think I knew what a fucking vagina was when I was 13. I was a late bloomer in, like, all aspects, though.
Well, that like, yeah. So like seeing those kids start like dating each other at 11 made me feel like a late bloomer when I got my first boyfriend at like 15. But then I'm like, no, 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 because all my other friends got their first boyfriends when they were like 16, 17. So then so they were the late bloomers. So it was like a whole chain. But yeah, those are, I would never want to relive that time in my life. It was just horrendous.
Yeah, I would do high school again. High school, I had a blast, but I would not do middle school if I got to, like, do
Yeah.
times over again. Yeah, I got my first girlfriend when I was 14, freshman year, pretty basic.
I feel like middle school is just like straight evil. Like
Yeah,
this.
it's the transition period. You're going from, playing and, like, on a playground at, lunch to, like, the awkward phase between the playground and sitting,
Mhm.
like, and talking.
But then it was like interesting because we grew up in a time, so like we grew up during this awkward time, and then um like the developments of like MySpace and AIM came in. So then it's like if I couldn't say anything to the boy at school, I would send him a DM, be waiting for him to hear that like door noise come on after school.
Yeah, I always liked, the level of technology we had, I think, is the best. That's when we should have stopped. I talk about that all the time, how we should have stopped with on the computer at home.
Yeah.
That's where all the stuff belongs, once it got put into their pockets. So, yeah, we were, like, right before, and then even when the iPhone came out, it really didn't catch on for a couple of years 'cause, when I was a senior in high school, my buddy had an iPhone, and he was, like, one of the only guys in school with an iPhone, and I
Yeah.
remember I would ask him in class, "Oh, let me check my Facebook on your phone." He'd be like, "No, dude, I'm out of data." And I'm like, "What the fuck is that? I don't care. Give me your phone." He's like, "No, dude, I don't have any data." And I'm like, "Dude, I don't know what that is. Give me your phone."
Yeah.
And that was senior year. I'm pretty sure my graduation present was an iPhone. I'm pretty sure I got my first iPhone when I graduated high school. I could be wrong about that. I might have gotten it before then, but I'd have to ask my mom. But I know it was around graduation time that I got an iPhone for the first time. 'Cause I
But
remember I dated a girl my junior year, and we used to use MapQuest to go on, like, long dates out of town and shit. MapQuest was the best. I
yeah,
loved doing MapQuest trips.
I just remember that like very refreshing feeling of coming home as a kid and going on the computer
Oh,
and like
yeah.
being like, do you have any notifications? Who else is online? It was just so like limitless and freeing.
Well, it was the best because
So,
since you were out and about, all your notifications would build up, so you'd get
yeah,
one big euphoric burst, whereas now it's just every 5 minutes, but when you get home and check your MySpace, it'd be like, "Oh, I've been out all day, so now I've got messages, comments, bulletins, picture comments. Like it all built up over the day.
It was definitely less anxiety producing. I will say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then
MySpace was
did you
fun.
ever hear or remember of that program Second Life?
No.
Okay, so Second Life. So I was never into like Sims or any of that, but there was this program. I think it still exists. Um, yeah. So there was this program when we were younger called Second Life, and it was basically kind of like it's kind of like a Sims, but it was like was Sims like live action? Because this was like real time. Like you would log on, it was like on a website, and then people all over the world would be on there. And then it was kind of like you created your own avatar and you could go to different worlds. And it was like very like R rated. And so you could go and like talk to other people and like go do normal human activities. But then they would like people would create these worlds in there that were like sex related. So, so you could be like a 12-year-old pretending to be like, you could say whatever you want, you were 30, and then watch your avatar like go have sex with like somebody else.
So it was like online.
Yeah, it was online. And
Yes,
so
I never played Sims online.
so I remember like doing that when I was like 11 or 12 and like learning a lot about sex like through that game. It was a lot of fun. I didn't do anything sexual on that game, but I remember like just watching because you would like fly around. It still exists. It's called Second Life. I'm sure it's very advanced now because I was playing it 20 years ago. But it was really fucking cool because you like the worlds that people would build were like so insane. Like I remember like going into like I don't know.
My thing.
What happened?
My thing dropped, which means my microphone probably cut out again. Give me a second.
Okay. I can hear you.
Yeah, but it probably is. My thing still says microphone, actually. Do I sound the same?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so far since the weather's gotten bad, my connection's cut on 2 separate streams now, which is annoying. I have really good internet. I pay for, like, the whole fiber deal. But, yeah, Protomax, if it sounds weird, let me know. Let me know what happened, actually. Your face basically froze for a second, and then, the thing that's annoying is that my streaming service will lie to me every time I finish a stream, they will send me an email telling me how the quality of the stream, and it'll always say 0 frames dropped. And I'm like, motherfucker, the whole thing disconnected for like 5 seconds. What are you talking about?
That's weird.
But no, it's only done that twice. That's the second time it's done that now. But yeah, they just sound like a ridiculous program. I never played anything really online. My mom was always kind of okay. Protomax didn't notice anything. She was always kind of cautious about the internet, like talking to strangers online. I snuck having a MySpace for a couple of years, which is funny because looking back, I don't think she would have cared at all. I think she would laugh if I told her now that I used to sneak going on MySpace at home.
Yeah, I don't know. My parents just kind of gave me free reign. They were like, I don't know. I was weird. We had this like when we lived in Minnesota, most people in their home, their basements are kind of their basements are like an exact replica of the main house. And so our basement had like 3 bedrooms and like a whole dining room area and living room. It was like it mirrored the top. And so I chose, of course, to have the bedroom way down in the basement, way in the back of the house, like completely away from my parents as far as fucking possible. So I'm this like 12-year-old kid in the basement, like playing these fucking like weird games on the computer. And my parents never batted an eyelash. I think they were like, yeah, we trust her, whatever. But I'm on there just like playing Neopets and then also,
Yeah. Well, I also think
plus
parents didn't
gamers.
really know the dangers of the internet, for a while.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And then I remember, of course, Fox News would do the whole like, these are the dangers of kids talking to adults on the internet, which is correct. It is something that people need to be worried about. So you had a house on top of your house.
Yeah, I remember there was like I remember having a conversation once was somebody, maybe it was like on MySpace or something. I don't know who they were. They were a random guy, and they had sent me a message saying how, and I was 11 at this time, and they sent me a message saying that they thought one of my friends on my like top 8 or something was hot, and he said he was 17, and I was like, oh well, she's 11. And he like
Jesus Christ.
couldn't believe it. And I just think that's disgusting. Yeah, the dangers of the internet.
I guess it's not, there's gotta be a law against 17 and 11, right?
Yeah, right? Like, I mean, they're both underage, but
I was gonna say, I could see there not being a law, but I also could see there definitely being a law.
that's like the comparison of like a teenager and a baby. You know? Like, it's
Oh,
just
yeah. You know,
so
it's I'm not advocating for it, I'm just
that's
talking
disgusting.
in terms of, like, legally, that's fucking crazy.
But I think he thought that she was older. And then I was like, I just threw her under the bus and was like, she's 11.
Dude, fucking 11. I didn't even think about I didn't even think about girls when I was 11. I
Yeah.
remember there was a girl in the court that I lived in like, fucking 2nd grade that I had a crush on, and then I later learned that she was not hot at all. I was just a young boy who was, like, you know, saw a girl for probably, like, the 2nd time in my life and was like, "Oh, I think she's attractive." I remember she asked me
Yeah.
my birthday one time, and I straight she was an older girl, so that's definitely why.
I
She
think
asked
my
me my birthday one time, and I straight up got my birthday wrong because I was, like, so nervous talking to her.
I think my first crush was Aaron Carter, and I was probably like 6. So,
Yeah.
you
My first
know,
crushes were definitely wrestlers, like women wrestlers, because that's I was coming up in the era of, like, the bra and panties match, so that was
yeah.
honestly kind of like that's how I got my rocks off when I was a kid, like, watching women's wrestling, watching WWE and seeing the girls in wrestling, and then, of course, staying up late watching Girls Gone Wild infomercials.
Yeah, now that I think of it, so when I was really young, like 5 or 6 years old, I had this giant Aaron Carter poster. Like it was like his face, and it was like on my bedroom wall. And I think I haven't thought about that in so many years, but thinking about that right now, I'm wondering, how did I get that poster? Like my parents bought me that at 5 years old, which is wild, but I don't know. I do remember, yeah, I loved that poster, and he was my first crush. And I was so jealous, like every other girl, when he kissed Hilary Duff on Lizzie McGuire. We were 5 and he was 13. So
I always had a crush on Lizzie McGuire, now that you mention that.
no, Hilary Duff is amazing.
Yeah.
She's like one of those celebrities that like she lived through it all and she has no drama.
Well, she did date the guy from Good Charlotte when she was, like, fucking 2 years old, and he was a full grown ass adult.
Yeah, but I think people kind of overlook that, you know. She wasn't really into drugs or alcohol or
People overlooked a lot of the early 2000s was a weird, like, Lindsay Lohan dated Fez from that '70s show when she was, like, 16 or 17.
Yeah.
There was Hilary Duff and the Madden guy from Good Charlotte. There was a lot of that stuff that for some reason gets overlooked in the early 2000s.
Yeah, now it's like you can't do that. It's illegal. All right, well, I'm gonna go because it's 8 o'clock. I gotta get ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, I gotta, I think it's done raining. Yeah, I'm probably gonna at least go for a walk. So now it's just, whenever we get off, you can mute your mic, and then I'll start the intro, and then you can get off whenever.
All right, let me mute.
Proto Max, I think you're the only one here, so thanks for being the last guy standing and dealing with all this. And then, yeah, fucking A. I'll end up talking to you, I'm sure, today or tomorrow or whatever.
Sounds good.
I need to start replying to DMs more often, but I've been starting to get better at it. I gotta fucking message Jay back.
Okay.
All right, good stream.
Okay, bye.
And we're all here today to groove and have a beautiful time together, and that it's only the beginning.